Hi there, I'm Mary Ellen Bush. Thanks for joining us for CIPS Scene. It's been a busy quarter since the last CIPS Scene. The transition on our proposed merger with Union Electric is progressing along, as is the construction of our call center in Pawnee. Those are among the items we'll review in our news report segment. This fall, we took delivery of a new computer system. Of course, it's newer, faster, sleeker, better, and all that. Technology being what it is today, and to make an analogy we can all understand, exchanging the old one for the new one was like trading 20 old refrigerators for one double-wide model. Our last story is about rodeos. This isn't a cowboy feature on bronco busting or calf roping. Rather, it's our KC Cowboys, 10 employees who competed in the Lineman's Rodeo at Kansas City in late September. A couple of weeks later, we had 8 employees who competed in the gas rodeo at Illinois Power in Decatur. But our first story is a review of this year. Lynn Gallia reports on this very eventful year.
1995 was unquestionably an historic year, obviously because of our proposed merger with Union Electric that was announced in mid-August. But our company initiated several monumental changes at the beginning of the year when a new marketing organization took shape. We formed several groups who were charged with developing customer service and marketing strategies. By the spring, we had a plan, and by June 1, we were implementing that plan.
As we implement the marketing plan, we have actually extended the marketing team to include a lot of other areas within the CIPS organization, and that's something that we're most excited about, is how we've basically drawn together the field operations and have made them part of our marketing effort.
With the proposed merger with Union Electric, we now have an opportunity to carry some of our programs into Missouri and bring some of UE's programs into Illinois. Bachman is excited about those prospects.
And now, of course, with the merger, we're looking at transitioning our marketing efforts and marketing strengths to mesh together with Union Electric's marketing strengths, and the opportunities there are absolutely unlimited from a marketing perspective. That's where we can start doubling and tripling the impacts that we originally thought of within our marketing action plan by carrying them over to Missouri and bringing their programs over to Illinois. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about the meshing.
Business process reengineering, a top-down review of corporate operations begun last year, pressed forward with its second phase. The focus of separate BPR teams was division operations and power supply. Each team based its work on the findings and recommendations of Phase 1, which concluded last December. In August, a decision was made to test proposed changes for field operations on a pilot basis. The Wabash region, comprised of what had been the Olney area, was established. The pilot was implemented in October. What customers should see is a change in service.
Customers that are really seeing the change are the customers that we deal with on projects, basically. We've had several meetings with our trade allies and our industrial customers to introduce them to the regional concept. We introduced them at that time to the what we call one-stop shopping concept, where one employee deals with all of their needs.
Another integral part of the regional concept is employee empowerment, which will provide greater opportunity for decision-making by employees who work directly with customers. Employee empowerment was also the basis of nearly a year-long training program that the company put on.
One of the most exciting things is the development of the empowerment concept, where our employees are actually making decisions, which they were really capable of doing. But we had such an organization before that they weren't allowed to go ahead and commit the company. They are certainly excited about being able to commit, make a decision, take care of the customer. And I think one of the most exciting things to come is that the remainder of the divisions are going to be able to do this.
Another BPR team developed a proposal calling for power plant maintenance to be organized on the basis of an area concept. Meridosha Power Station was selected for that pilot, which will begin January 1. Areas would be locations in a plant with clearly defined functions. A team would consist of the plant operator and craft maintenance personnel who would be assigned to a certain area and given responsibility for maintaining the equipment and facilities there. The goal of a more cost-effective power station will serve as a model for the other 4 power stations. While change continues to evolve so quickly in our business and with our company, Mother Nature is still around to remind us that she's still the boss and we're at her mercy. In the spring, tornadoes ripped through central Illinois twice in 1 week, causing power outages, severe property damage, and some minor injuries. The tiny town of Cantrell was in the path of a twister that damaged the elementary school and post office. 4 days later, the northern portion of our western division suffered extensive damage. A 345 kV interconnect line between Silco's Duck Creek Power Station and our South Ipava substation went down. In addition, we had damage to a 69 kV line as well as a 138 kV line. In other news and review, more than 150 employees participated in our first ever voluntary separation program. We enhanced our 401k program, offering employees several more investment choices while making the accessibility of their accounts more timely. We also closed a couple of offices, Havana and West Frankfort, and closed a few more of our offices to customer traffic, Watseka, Anna, Tuscola, and Paris. And of course, as I mentioned at the top of the review, our merger with Union Electric. For a news update, which includes the merger, here's Mary Ellen Bush.
Thanks, Lynn. Work continues in securing the necessary approvals with our proposed merger with Union Electric. In early November, both companies filed application with the Illinois Commerce Commission, while UE also sought the approval of the Missouri Public Service Commission. It is expected that both commissions will issue orders on the requests by early summer. Later this month, CIPSCO and UE will conduct meetings of shareholders seeking their approval of the proposed merger. Ours will be held December 20th at the Hilton in Springfield, while UE's will be held that same day at the Ritz-Carlton in downtown St. Louis. Information on the results of those meetings will be provided in CIPS News, News Network, Merger Update, and the next edition of CIPScene. Work continues on securing the other approvals and on the internal transition process. The Illinois General Assembly should receive a preliminary report on restructuring electric utility regulation later this month. The report was compiled by the Technical Assistance Group, or TAG, of which CIPS is a member. The report will focus on activities this summer and fall, exploring issues related to restructuring regulation of electric utilities in Illinois and allowing customers to choose their electricity supplier. Some of the major issues identified for further exploration are ownership and operation of generation, transmission and distribution assets, service territory boundaries, retail wheeling, and stranded costs. That's a term that has received a lot of publicity lately. Stranded costs are revenues a utility anticipates and expends to build infrastructure to take care of new customers. Because as we operate now, we're obligated to serve any and all customers within our service area territory. In the approaching competitive environment, our traditional customers may obtain their electric service from another utility. Their departure would represent a loss in revenue, thus a stranded investment cost. The company's views on competition and the restructuring of the industry were presented by Cliff Greenwald, President and CEO, at a recent TAG meeting.
One of our strongest beliefs is that competition should not be allowed under any concept in which one party has an inherent advantage or disadvantage caused by regulation, taxation, or any other artificial constraint. For competition to yield benefits, electric suppliers must be free to compete on an equal footing, hence the old level playing field. We believe for any plan to be acceptable, it must contain potential benefits and must be fair to every class of customer.
The only other utility to address regulatory reform with a long-term legislative proposal is Illinois Power. Dan Long of the Regulatory Department explained our involvement.
We decided we would try to take a hand in shaping our own destiny as far as how regulation in Illinois would be changed.
One part of our proposal would allow an initial phase of 3 years for customers to seek other suppliers for their electricity. The other part relates to stranded investment costs.
Probably the major difference between our proposal and Illinois Power's proposal is how they deal with the issue of stranded investment or stranded costs. It was IP's proposal that the stranded investment related to those costs be passed on not only to the customers that would leave their system through direct access, but that one half of those costs would be borne by their remaining ratepayers. Our proposal was to pass one half of the stranded costs through to customers that leave the system, and that the other half would be borne by shareholders.
Our proposal, along with Illinois Power's and others, will be refined in TAG debate during 1996 and will form the basis for final proposals submitted to the legislature late next year. Before we get too far into next year, we need to get through the upcoming heating season. According to the gas department, our storage fields are full and prices are low.
Basically, in the next heating season, we have plenty of gas supply. Got our storage fields are fairly full right now, and they will be full before the heating season. We've got all of our expected supplies that we would need to serve even a most severe winter under contract with producers and other suppliers of natural gas, and we do not anticipate any problem serving all of our load.
The heating season means winter is here, but any adverse weather should not hinder the ongoing construction at the call center in Pawnee. That's because the building is up, the roof is on, and work should continue on the inside. Just in the last few weeks, Information Services has installed a new computer. Ron Dickerson has that story.
It's only the size of a double-wide refrigerator, but it's capable of crunching any amount of work this company can throw its way. It's our new computer, which will allow us to meet the demands that have been placed upon us, such as the increase in the number of applications being put on our system.
The machinery itself will allow us to continue operating at the levels that we're expected to provide for the rest of the company. It also provided us with an immediate $475,000 in savings compared to having our old system versus the new system. Now, the reason why that is able to happen is IBM packaged their new hardware with software, so that in this bundling concept, we went to a lease versus a buy, just to get the advantage of that savings that's offered through a lease.
With the new computer, we won't experience any capacity problems or any slowdowns, Perry said.
With the new mainframe, we're able to have an uninterruptible power source. Now, what that means to us as a supplier of a service to the rest of the company is that with this uninterruptible power supply, we can guarantee that the system will not go down due to a power flux.
Also, we've lifted 37 tons of equipment off the computer room floor, and we've reduced electrical requirements substantially on a per-month basis.
The old computer system was a bundling effect of frames, and there was about 19 frames that made up the old computer system. Now, this old computer system took up more than half of the space on the 10th floor. And by installing the new technology CMOS processor that we've got from IBM, this is basically, in layman's terms, the size of a double-wide refrigerator that you would have in your kitchen at home.
The savings in floor space will allow the department to reunite many of its employees to the same floor. Those people had been dispersed throughout the building.
So we have the space available in there, and we are going to use it for personnel in our land development area. These people currently are scattered throughout the building. Most of them are on 6th floor.
The upgrade to the new computer actually began when Information Services personnel began researching the issue last year.
When we started investigating this, it was fourth quarter of 1994, and we were not even aware of the merger at the time. Basically, it can't help but put us in a better position for the merger because of the upgradability of the new system. But the merger was not in the planning stage for the new system. It basically was just done to meet environmental concerns and capacity and speed of the old system, and it not being able to keep up with the business needs of the company.
Finally, Ed Cowboy Kobow reports on a couple of rodeos that don't involve your typical cowboy, or even an urban cowboy. These were our cowboys, electric and gas cowboys, who battle storms and every other disturbance that confronts them day and night, all to keep us warm and the lights on. They competed in the Lineman's Rodeo in Kansas City and the Gas Rodeo in Decatur, and they did a great job.
There wasn't a bucking bronco to be found, yet over 800 people traveled to Kansas City and Decatur for a couple of rodeos. Since these cowboys were more interested in climbing poles and digging holes than roping a steer, the livestock wasn't needed. In Kansas City, the 12th annual Lineman's Rodeo was held September 23rd. It is the second year CIPS has participated in the event, and the company and IBEW 702 were well represented by the following 13 employees. Apprentice Doug Langley of Paxton did an outstanding job and placed 10th overall out of 113 apprentices. Union Electric's team from Berkeley placed 5th overall. This year's competition included utilities from throughout the United States and as far away as Canada, Puerto Rico, and England. The rodeo season continued closer to home in October when the National Gas Rodeo was hosted by Illinois Power in Decatur on October 8th. Competing for CIPS were 40 contestants representing 7 utilities from across the nation competed. Our Mattoon team captured first place in the hand dig competition. Congratulations to all our competitors in both rodeos.
Nice job, guys. That does it for this SIP scene. Happy holidays.